Uniform show. We're going to finish the NFL season. It's been a long time coming, but we're always glad to talk uniforms. And there was a lot to cover with the second half of the NFL season and into the playoffs. So let's begin. Giants at Bears.
This was a great turn back of games, so to speak, especially on the Giants side, but the Bears being so consistent this year with wearing just their standard uniforms. And then the Giants wearing their turnbacks on the road, which you wouldn't necessarily expect as much. The only thing missing is the blue socks, but overall, great to see this and great to see teams getting together and making a relevant turnback situation.
Exactly. My only criticism is the Giants' socks not having the right ones. But even at that, I mean, what an improvement over the regular Giants road uniforms. Never been a fan of their current set that they've had for, well, this entire century.
Yeah.
Now, all these uniforms, all these years for the Giants. And this was one of those matchups that I always thought looked good back when you'd see in the 80s or when you actually saw it in the 90s.
Yeah.
That you'd take for granted. And now you're like, wow, this is so solid on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see, and it's worth acknowledging seeing this. I don't know how many people appreciate this, but we really do between the Giants and the Bears.
Yeah, you appreciate it a lot more now.
And here's another one. The Raiders hosting the Cowboys, and it's one of those great uniform matchups that we never got in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But for me, it's worth also recognizing every single time it happens.
Yeah.
Because it's two of the very best uniforms. The Raiders are the most consistent and conservative uniform teams in the NFL, and in our opinions, the best at this point.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, and they sort of switch it up with some alternates, some good, some bad. But overall, the Cowboys are still one of the best. And when they wear what they're supposed to, it's always a treat. Cowboys and Raiders.
Yeah. And you have the two teams here, the only two teams that have shiny pants left in the NFL.
This one was in Las Vegas. And these are two great franchises that didn't make the playoffs. I mean, the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs this year, and the Raiders had another miserable season, especially the Raiders. After everything they've gone through, I would be really glad to see them turn things back around so you could see more of these uniforms in the playoffs again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
The Packers in New York. The Packers at Giants. When you take a first look, you're like, great uniform game, but there's something a little wrong about this picture.
Yeah. It's in New York, for starters, like you just said. The Giants are wearing the white socks instead of the blue again. And the Packers are wearing their home on the road. But overall.
Yeah, overall, but as usual as it is, I really like it.
Yeah.
I really, really like this Packers at Giants matchup.
Very surprising to see. Turn on the TV inside, and Giants wear away at home at times, but wouldn't necessarily expect against the Packers.
Yeah, and just already starting the very beginning of this episode, we already saw the Giants on the road wear it against the Bears, and then at home, here they are against the Packers, and I have to ask the question again, if you like it that much, why isn't this your regular look?
Yeah.
But this was unique, but it was a cool game between the Packers and the Giants. On to a bad uniform game, and this was the Rams at home against the Seahawks. And the strange thing about this, and we're going to get to the other Rams-Seahawks game later in the episode, is that both teams had these rivalry uniforms. And I thought with rivalry uniforms, they were going to wear rivalry uniforms in the same game.
So did I.
Against each other, yet they didn't. And the Rams decided to wear theirs while the Seahawks wore their regular road uniforms. I found that very strange.
Yeah. And not every team has the right color combination, I guess, to wear them against each other, but I thought that too, that they were supposed to wear them against each other.
Well, let me say one thing about the NFC West, since we pay special attention to the NFC West. They could have done that with the NFC West.
Yeah.
And I figure it would have been the same with the AFC East. I'd have to check to be sure, but Rams and 49ers both with the home
Dark.
uniforms, and then the Cardinals and the Seahawks with what you
Light.
think would be road uniforms,
Yeah.
but they both end up wearing what you figured were road uniforms at home.
Right.
So none of them actually wore them together in any of these games.
Yeah.
But what can you say about this? Rams.
Yeah, the only thing when I saw this at first was the helmet reminds me a little more of the original darker blue Rams helmet, but it's not blue, it's black. And
Another case of black for the sake of black.
yeah. And then the Seahawks are pretty good for what they are, but they're wearing the white stockings instead of the blue socks with this set, so it's worse, but just overall, like you said, they should have the rivalry teams wearing the uniforms against each other, just too mismatched. And you have one wearing and the other not.
And I think these are all concentrating on the NFC West. I give all of them a thumbs down, except the Cardinals, as we mentioned the last time around. The Cardinals rivalry uniform is actually an improvement upon their road uniform.
Yeah.
It is better than their standard regular uniform. But the Rams, the black is so unnecessary. And, I mean, the only positive I'll say is it's not really, the design itself is not really much of a departure from the regular uniform. It's really mainly black, but it does nothing for me. And it's just, again, a worse uniform with the wrong colors of what they already have.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a color rush, uniform.
Right.
On top of it.
Yet another color rush.
But this was a terrible game for uniforms, and it wasn't exactly a great played game either on the field, from what I remember. But it was a preview of the NFC Championship game.
Right.
In a year of very poor play around the NFL.
Yeah.
Patriots, well, this was their rivalry uniform going to the AFC East, and they're hosting the Jets. First thought is it's like the Colts.
That's just what I was
right?
going to say.
The Colts. Which is a good look, but you're not the Colts. It's an unoriginal look.
Yeah. And they actually wear the colored socks here, as did the Cardinals. Some of the other teams with their rivalry uniforms, which is head scratching, but the Jets decided to go all white all the way down.
Which is not all that bad for an all white on white, except of course the all white stocking socks. I just have to say, all the way around, these uniforms were very disappointing, but this is probably one of the better ones right here.
It is.
The Patriots, but it's not the Patriots. It's
the Colts.
The Colts. Look. So, yeah, it's okay, I guess. It's all right. Just, could you give me more throwback uniforms for the Patriots instead of basically being the Colts and just slapping on the Patriots logo on the helmet?
Yeah. Just give us home and road, Pat Patriot.
Oh, but the pants. I do have to rip the pants, though. The stripe, if you look there on the right, is very weak look. That would be my only real criticism of the uniform, is the pants need a stronger, solid stripe. Like a cut-off stripe or something that comes to a point is pointless to me.
Yeah.
It's very, very weak. It's sort of, it's there, but it's hardly there.
Right.
Suppose it is better than nothing, but if you're going to do it the right way.
Yeah. And you can see the Jets for comparison on the other side, and they have a complete stripe. It looks so much better.
Yeah, that's the comparison. And surprising game. This was, for us, an afternoon game. Well, it would have been an afternoon for the East Coast, too, and for the Eagles, or if you're Central Time Zone Cowboys. Cowboys hosting the Eagles, and some teams have decided to do this, wear their great throwback uniforms in Dallas because they know they're going to be in the spotlight and they know they're going to have a large audience. They're probably going to be a primetime game. And the Eagles, after all, were the defending Super Bowl champions, so they decided to wear their Kelly greens in Dallas.
Yeah, we appreciate it first and foremost from the traditional divisional matchup standpoint. And they did this year before against the Cowboys as well, which we appreciated in Philadelphia. But this was in Dallas, and like you said, more people are watching apparently because it's the Cowboys.
And this is something they actually had done 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So at the end of last season in Philadelphia, the Eagles wore the Kelly Greens hosting the Cowboys. So that was interesting. And hey, I wish we got to see it twice a year every year. If the Cowboys are going to wear their road whites, if you're going to call them road whites, if they're going to wear white twice a year against the Eagles, I have no problem with the Eagles wearing it both times.
Yeah.
Of course, I think if you asked almost anybody at this point, and we celebrate the Eagles every time they wear the throwbacks. Every time. We don't skip a single appearance, even though now they've been doing it for several years, because these are, I will say, it's special uniforms doing it, and it's great whether at home, which you'd expect, or they might surprise you and even wear these on the road.
Yeah, we were waiting for them for so long, and to see them using them home or road is great multiple times a year. These along with the Seahawks and Buccaneers and Oilers, other teams have finally brought their turnbacks back, and we just like to see the Eagles go back to these primarily, and they can keep what they have now as a throwback to celebrate their Super Bowl victories, kind of like the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I know they've done the winning as far as getting to the Super Bowl, and honestly, they've been extremely successful in the Andy Reid era into the later part of this century up to the present, let's say. They've got to a lot of championships, they've got to Super Bowls, they've won Super Bowls and what their regular uniforms are, but they're average uniforms. These are above average and crowd pleasers.
Yeah.
Not just for us uniform fans, but you'd say fans in general love these uniforms.
Yeah, like you always point out when we're watching games in Philadelphia, great majority.
Yeah, it's more than half the fans are wearing this color, not the regular Eagles color.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get to Thanksgiving. We had 3 Thanksgiving games. And we've seen this one a lot over the years of the Packers at the Lions. And the worst year in Packers history continues. I feel like a broken record this whole season, but it's their fault. The Packers did not wear a throwback for Thanksgiving. Instead, they gave us this. And we're focusing on the Packers, not the Lions here, considering the Lions were wearing the throwback. This was one of the Lions' strongest uniform games. Arguably it was.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back at the entire schedule, but this was arguably the strongest Lions game of the entire year. Now I'm trying to remember, did they ever wear? They never did it, right? They never wore the gray pants.
They only wore the gray pants on the road twice, and otherwise they only wore it at home during the preseason with the blue jersey once.
So this was the strongest home game of the year for the Lions with the throwback. And as great as that is for them, I'm looking first at the Packers. Just how upset I am with the Packers because they have the best uniform, arguably, in all sports.
Yeah. And speaking of preseason, the Packers only wore the green socks with the road uniform once in the preseason, and then decided to wear the white stockings the whole rest of the season on the road.
All right, if they're going to do this, the Packers, I mean, this is not a happy Thanksgiving from the Packers. This is not something to be happy about or be thankful for on the holiday. Could we at least get the stripes on the socks?
Yeah.
Could we at least have some green on there? Or, I'm thinking like Super Bowl II, as we've looked at before. Super Bowl II, the Packers hosting the Raiders, they had striping. And I'm not a striping guy on the socks. I don't like stripes on socks, but I'll take stripes on socks compared to all white.
Yeah. Yeah, they should not be transparent. They should have some sort of striping on the sock if they're going to be white. And again, the Packers wore the white combination multiple times, the all-white uniform. They wore the leather helmet uniform. Lots of alternates for them, lots of bad home games. And then they decided to screw around the road and not wear green socks anymore.
And here's another one again. I will salute the Lions. This was their best home game of the season. If we could just see this same color combination and uniform combination with the silver, blue, gray, blue. What makes the most sense? The alternating colors from helmet, jersey, pants to socks with the regular uniforms. Again, we're talking about a very, very strong uniform, but they are super stubborn. This was a good day for the Lions. This was a bad day for the Packers.
Yep.
And can I just say for the record, Romeo Doubs, I'm rooting against you because he's held on to this Guardian cap for over a season. But now he's not even with the Packers anymore. He's with the Patriots. So they can enjoy that now because I'm sure he's going to wear the Guardian cap for his whole season. But I don't need to see a Guardian cap all the time on the Packers, all teams. Can't say enough bad things about the Packers this season. And that's how they kicked off the Thanksgiving schedule.
Yeah.
Very good Lions. Packers, shame on you. Now the second game on the slate, and this was one we talked about a lot. Not so much with uniforms going into this, but just the fact that the NFL actually gave the Cowboys a real competitor in the Chiefs. A Super Bowl team. They weren't in the Super Bowl this year, but they've been the AFC representative for all these years with Mahomes and a championship caliber team. So many times we've gotten very weak opponents in Dallas to make it easy on the Cowboys on Thanksgiving and to showcase the Cowboys and put them in the best light possible.
Yeah.
And I'll just get it out of the way. I give credit to the Cowboys. They beat the Chiefs. Of course, this was the Chiefs' worst season under Mahomes. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very interesting uniform game. We weren't sure. We figure with the Cowboys, they're going to wear this just about every Thanksgiving now. They used to mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this seems to be, from here on, at least for now, they're going with the 60s throwback uniform.
Right.
We just didn't know what we were getting out of the Chiefs.
Figured there would be a chance the Chiefs would wear the white pants, considering they've done that in other primetime games in recent years. Maybe not, but they did. With the White Sox, when they wore the Red Sox the one time the year before, that was pretty nice, but this is still good. And then the Cowboys, we appreciate when they wear this turn back. For the most part, the whole team does wear the blue socks. You have the nice contrasting helmet, jersey, pants, socks combo.
Yeah, it's just good to see primary colors against each other like that. Of course, I would have preferred the Chiefs I'm a very big fan of the Chiefs red pants.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, there's some things I might tweak a little bit with the Chiefs road uniform, but I definitely prefer the red pants for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know, just looking back at the first game, just see even the small, thin stripe of the Chiefs socks. It does something for me. It helps me. Even if we could get that on the Packers, again, I'd still be really mad about it because, you know, we're talking about the Packers here, a perfect uniform that they've been messing with. But, again, you got to give me some color on those socks. So, this was by far the strongest game on each side. Even having a lesser Chiefs road uniform against a good Cowboys throwback was... It was actually one of the more interesting games, I would say, uniform-wise, the whole season. Chiefs and Cowboys.
I agree. Very unique.
And one of the more interesting ones we've seen on Thanksgiving in a good way. Games in Dallas. I found this picture, and these make for some interesting photos because of the lighting is so weird in Dallas because the way the stadium's built underground and then, you know, the angle and all that. It's really bad, though, for playing on the field. Very interesting picture, but it causes problems on the field. But it does give you good and unique lighting for, you know, highlighting the uniforms.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Thanksgiving games, I've always felt two's enough.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be back-to-back. They need to be spread out. I'm not a fan of the 3 Thanksgiving games, especially if your team is playing the 3rd game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we've had that with the 49ers. And it's like, yeah, we're trying to have Thanksgiving dinner. And then it's usually like a big-time game. It's been the game against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
You know, a couple times. And... that's a problem when you're on the West Coast.
Yep.
I don't know what it's like for other people. I guess it's a problem if you're a Cowboys fan and the game's going into the Thanksgiving dinner. But anyway, I wish the games would just be spaced out a little bit more. I don't like the 3 games on Thanksgiving, even though I'm a huge football fan. Two's enough.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to Sunday, it's like a very empty slate of games. You take 3 games out of the way. 4 games now that there's the Friday game. You had 4 games that are pulled off of the schedule. And let's talk about the uniforms. Ravens hosting the Bengals. Barf.
Yeah, again, we already talked about the Ravens' new purple uniforms and the helmet this year. There are a few good elements about it, but too much purple overall. The helmet has a contrasting cage with the gold. The pants has a stripe. Those are a couple good elements, but there's just too much purple. The numbers don't have enough contrast being in gold. And the matte helmet and the logo on the helmet of the front-facing Raven just is a bad shape compared to the regular Raven head.
Yeah, and the Bengals, you know, the roads are just very weak.
Yeah.
I'd say that too. And what they did back, you know, in the old days, in the 80s and the 90s with the Bengals is I do like the orange socks better with the road uniform because it matches the helmet. If you're going to go white on white and, you know, you need some orange in the pants, you need some orange on those socks. Shoulders. I shouldn't say some. You just need more orange, period. You're the Bengals. It's really just primarily the helmet. Put some orange on the striping on the pants and then give me an orange sock. It's just very, very weak.
Yeah.
So this game just, uniform standpoint, really stunk.
Yeah.
And it is a bad way to end the, overall, I would say a bad Thanksgiving between what the Packers did in this last game.
Yeah.
All right. The Panthers. The Panthers have been the least And they've been the most difficult team to predict or prognosticate what they're going to wear from week to week. We've talked about it. It's like if we're going to do uniform rankings around the league, like what would you even say about the Panthers? Because they have so many different combinations. You have to ask yourself, well, what is their standard home and road uniform? Well, I know one thing, that this look, which is as close as the original look was, just minus the silver pants, gray pants swapped in instead of silver. This original black look with this helmet and these pants and socks, this was the best combination of anything they've ever had.
Yep.
And we see it maybe once a year.
Yeah.
Really just once a year. And that's it. It's a shame. So we got to also be thankful, but also sit there and really ask, why do we not see this more than once a season? Because it's a balanced look. It's just what we're talking about, these other teams. You've got the helmet, jersey, pants, socks alternating like they should.
Yeah, contrast.
Having silver, black, gray, silver, black.
Yeah.
And they would be smart to go back to this. I'm actually surprised all these years they have not had an actual redesign of the uniform. But what they had in the first place really did work well. I mean, as much as I like them, obviously it's not the most original look, because the silver and the black, that's the Raiders.
Yeah.
They added their own blue in there. But anyway, I've always felt, though, that they are different enough from the Raiders. I like them. Why can't they just be the regular home uniform or the black uniform for the Panthers? Because it's always been a question with the Panthers, especially in the 90s. Well, what are they going to wear at home?
Yeah.
Because they were a team that often would wear white at home.
Yeah.
But I'm just sorry we haven't seen more of this, but had to at least point it out and say, hey, thank you for at least getting it right once. It'd be nice if it would be twice by the Panthers. They need to stop experimenting.
Yeah. And like we've talked about, teams with less history of winning, you get this more just experimenting, wearing something different every single week.
Then they've really had the expansion team type feel to them.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that has been to multiple Super Bowls, unlike the Jaguars, who, they broke in at the same time. They entered the league the same year, and the Panthers were very successful right away when they entered the NFL, just like the Jaguars. But the Jaguars, for the most part, have been pretty successful team as well. But the Panthers haven't got that Super Bowl victory, but they've made it to multiple Super Bowls, and they've had some very good teams.
Yeah.
This is a winning look. On to the Seahawks. The Seahawks get the Eagles treatment that every time they wear these, they've got to show it off. And this was another home game. They had an afternoon game where they brought back their throwback uniforms. And in a season where they won the Super Bowl, they've won Super Bowls in other uniforms other than these. They didn't win a Super Bowl in these. But when you have a uniform that's superior, I can say in every way, better colors, better design, just a silver helmet, and you keep settling for something that's less. And it's not even like, it's not like you're saying, well, the Eagles Kelly Green to what their regular uniforms are.
Yeah.
You're not going from a good uniform to an average uniform. You're going from a good uniform to one of the worst uniforms in the league. And that's something that it's something that really bothers me. I mean, I'm really glad that they wore these. It took way too long for them to wear them. I'm glad they wear them a couple times a year. But when is it going to be the primary uniform? And, here's a good shot of the whole experience here. The stadium has a whole different feel to it.
Yeah.
Than that dark, damp. I know you think of the rain and that kind of dark blue look with other teams like, okay, the Mariners.
Yeah.
But who else has this color and it pops?
Yeah.
It's unique. You're not confusing it with any other team.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks are a totally different team when
Yeah.
they wear these. And I'm glad to see it. Even if the game stinks, it's not that competitive a game. Or even if, you saw the picture of the Vikings. I don't like these Vikings uniforms at all. Especially the purple pants.
With the purple sock.
Yeah, I don't like these at all. But I found myself watching a lot of this game because I want to watch the Seahawks. We're not Seahawks fans. Seahawks are our rivals. But
Yeah.
I like these uniforms that much. I'm like, hey, I'm going to watch these while I can because, you know what it's going to be most of the time. It's not going to be this.
Yeah.
So, more rivalry uniforms, which are Color Rush
Yeah.
uniforms.
Yeah, and the Jets already have had lots of black on black or dark on dark, and this is only a little bit better in that they have some striping on it, but the numbers look a lot worse, and it's just very unnecessary again.
Yeah, you want to talk about a forgettable uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, ugh. This is one they can just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. I mean, it's about, for having actually being a color, it's about as colorless as a uniform could be.
Yeah.
And how many times are you going to say, and I'm very critical of the Dolphins. I'm very frustrated with what the Dolphins have done for years with their uniforms. How many times are you going to say, yeah, the Dolphins look better than your team today? I mean, the Jets have had some very bad uniforms.
Yeah.
Before they changed the current set, you'd actually say, yeah, they were better than the Dolphins. But most weeks, most games, you're going to say, yeah, the Dolphins are the weaker looking team. This game, Dolphins looked better.
Yep.
Mainly because they have too much white, but they have a little more color this week. The Dolphins looked better than the Jets. And I just give a big thumbs down to these. It was just a failure.
Yeah.
The rivalry uniforms. I mean, the moment I heard that they were going to do these, I'm like, oh, that's not good. It's not going to be good. You think anything good's going to come out of this?
Nope.
Nothing positive. I mean, like I said, the most positive thing we've said is, oh yeah, the Patriots, they sort of look like the Colts. That's the most positive thing we've said about these uniforms, rivalry uniforms at this point. They look like another team, and that's not necessarily bad, but is that anything new that's good? No.
Proves they're unnecessary.
But yeah, thank you, Jets. The Saints. We're on the road against the Buccaneers, and talk about an underrated uniform matchup. Talk about a matchup we used to get at least once a year.
Yeah.
Every year that we took for granted because you figured, well, the Saints were going to suit up well and they're going to use, gold pants, forever.
Yeah.
And that has not been the case. But we have to also enjoy the Saints the very few times they ever get this right. And we always have to bring up every time, too.
Yeah.
Saints, remember you won a Super Bowl like this.
Yeah.
You looked the best and you won a Super Bowl. You got to your only Super Bowl like this.
Yeah. And they'll do this once or twice a year, and that's it. And again, the Saints, as we've said so many times, are the ones that really start a lot of the color-on-color trends. So that's why we're always so annoyed at them. And because they could look so much better if they did wear the contrasting colors. But this is a great example, and it's a sort of a little bit of a turn-back game against the Buccaneers with their current set.
See, I'm not sure which team I'm more down on, the Saints or the Lions.
Yeah.
But I'd say long term, of course, the Saints, and like you said, they're the ones that started most of these bad trends, the color on color, the all one color look for a team that we would put in back in the 90s and the early 2000s. If we ranked the uniforms, they'd be in our top 10, if not almost our top 5.
Yeah.
That's how good the Saints are when they wear the right uniforms.
Right.
But the way they are now, especially, love the home. The road's good, but I love the home done right with the gold pants.
Yeah.
Black jersey, gold pants. But, they've messed with alternate helmets, black helmets, white helmets. It's like, no, gold is your color.
Yeah.
Gold is the helmet. And you're like, okay, they've got these alternate uniforms, and then what would you say is their standard home and road?
Home is black on black. Road lately is a little bit harder, but it's either white on black or white on white. And the white on gold is the least likely.
Right. The first thing that really got us down on the Saints was when they start wearing black pants on the road. That's what I remember. White on black. But it's been, really since that Super Bowl, it's been really bad for the Saints.
Yeah.
Okay, this was maybe the most surprising, shocking game of the entire season. That was just like, when I saw what these two teams were wearing, I was like, how is this happening? And in some ways, I really don't like it. In other ways, I'm like, hey, this is all right considering.
Yeah.
Considering what we've seen.
Yeah, the Buccaneers hadn't worn the home orange at all the whole season. We were wondering if they were.
Right, because this season, their theme or their main alternate uniform was the road version.
Right.
Not the home version. And I'll just say, too, we never saw enough of the home version.
No. So this was great to see them bring these back. But then the Falcons are wearing their home. And this should never happen. The Falcons, easily enough, could have had a road jersey made for this game. I know that's yet another additional uniform to their set. And they're probably already over the limit for how many they could have. But like you said, at the same time, it's two retro uniforms that are designed very well. So considering, it's better than not.
Yeah. In some ways, I didn't know how to react to this game. It left me sort of speechless.
Yeah.
In some ways, I still don't even know, like all these months later, exactly how to react to this uniform game.
Still wrong.
It's wrong, but I will at least say they are both strong throwback uniforms, but as you said, they're both home uniforms. Would I take this over a Color Rush?
Yeah.
Any day. Yeah. Color Rush game, I would. But could we have just had a Falcons road uniform, throwback uniform?
Yeah.
That could have been done for one game. It's done all the time. Teams wear one special uniform per season. At least they're very different colors. I guess they felt that the Falcons, that, okay, it's a light, creamsicle orange, that it's okay for us to wear black, but still, this is a color, home uniform.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, considering all the bad uniforms we get and the color rushes and rivalry uniforms, I like it too more than not.
Yeah.
But it still was maybe the most surprising game of the entire season. Shocking game.
I agree.
Of the whole season. I wasn't watching this game. I just saw the picture on ESPN or whatever it was, like on an update. I was like, huh? How'd this happen? What is this? And I didn't know quite how to react to it. But yeah, I like it more than I don't. But again, it would have made more sense if they're in Atlanta and the Buccaneers would have worn the road version, right?
Right.
Against the Falcons. But, I'm still kind of almost stuttering over this game of, if you had months to process this game and still not exactly sure how to say it. It was like the Cowboys and Broncos, I want to say in 2001, Thanksgiving, where they both wore home uniforms on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys wore their throwback 90s, I think the 94s.
Yeah.
Home version against the Orange Crush Broncos on Thanksgiving in Dallas.
Right.
It's like, I like the uniforms. I guess this is the way to put them. I like both uniforms. I just don't like them together.
Yeah.
It's made me think about, wow, someday are we going to see the 49ers and Packers play each other and they're both going to wear their home uniform?
Yeah.
Like the 49ers will be wearing red and the Packers jersey and the Packers will be wearing a green jersey.
Yeah.
It's like, I can think of things a lot worse than that, but if you're a traditionalist, that shouldn't happen.
No.
Like, if you gave me the option of having something like this or a color rush or having something like that or a color rush, I'll take that every time, but we shouldn't be in that position. This still shouldn't happen. It makes me feel very strange. Okay. Thursday night game. Rivalry Seahawks. They're at home against the Rams. This was one of the more kind of creative rivalry uniforms by the Seahawks, but again, this is what you think would be a road version. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, they took the gray on gray concept and applied it to this, and they bring in multicolored gradient helmet.
They have a metallic helmet.
Yeah, metallic.
Shiny numbers.
And it's like a mix of all their colors combined into these helmets and numbers. The blue, the green, the silver. But it's just not good contrast, definitive, and then you have the different pattern.
Well, the helmet's strange because it's more of a green really than a blue.
Yeah.
Like when you see this up close,
right?
To me, it is almost more of a. It depends on the lighting.
Yeah.
For this helmet, but to me, just seeing it on TV, it was more of a greenish than a blue. Though there's blue in there. They get the socks right.
Yeah.
That's good. They have the solid socks, which is more than we can say of than most teams in the NFL, like the Packers.
Yeah.
And the 49ers most weeks.
Yeah, again, these rivalry uniforms have had more colored socks, or maybe half of them have had colored socks.
That's stunning. Yeah.
Than same. So just why don't you wear your normal uniforms right instead of using them here? But yeah, Packers 49ers can't get it right on the road so much. But yeah, then you have pattern streaks on the jersey on the top.
That is what I'd almost say is the weakest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it almost looks like it. Yeah, I mean is it pattern? It almost looks like it's cut like slits.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It's almost transparent slits. It's just openings in the uniform of the jersey. That's what it looks like, but
speed, feathers, whatever they were going for, didn't read all the details when they released it.
That's the worst part to me.
Yeah.
Of course, the numbers are oversized too. I'd say that they're a little too big.
Still a bad design, and then on the other side you have the Rams actually wearing their yellow pants, surprisingly, which they didn't do enough. But yeah, just very weak overall.
It's weak, but I will say it could have been worse.
But it could have been worse.
Could have been worse a number of times with these.
Yeah.
A lot of these rivalry uniforms are just underwhelming, weird colors, but They could have been worse. We're getting to the worst.
Yeah.
We're coming to the worst soon of the rivalry uniforms. This wasn't it.
Yeah.
But again, so many times I'm sitting there saying this could have been one more opportunity the Seahawks could have worn the throwbacks at home. Or how about the throwback on the road? I thought they were supposed to have the throwback on the road, and I don't know if it got nixed or what. Maybe I'm just mistaken. But they could have worn that. And it's like, how about you give me almost any version of the throwback roads for the Rams? Like the 60s, white and blue, or 70s, 80s, 90s. Throwback road, blue and yellow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a strange thing that both these teams, as we said, the Rams wore their rivalry against the Seahawks at home, but they didn't wear them against each other.
Yeah, and they could have worn them in both cases against each other, having enough contrasting colors. But yeah, for the Seahawks, definitely could have been worse, like you've said in the past.
Are these
we talked about could have been neon all the way down with the helmet.
Thank you for saying that, and I meant to say that's one of the reactions I have, that it could have been so much worse, and I just pleasantly surprised that we haven't come to a neon green helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, you know it's coming.
Oh yeah.
I thought I said that last season, and I was expecting it this season. Didn't happen, but you would imagine it's coming this season or next, this upcoming season, or a season soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. That thankfully we haven't seen that. That's maybe the most positive thing I could say about this, that it prevented that from happening. The all neon look, they've had the all neon minus the helmet, that it just got to be a matter of time before they do that.
Yeah. But are these uniforms, you were saying?
You know, that is probably the best thing, that it prevented something worse coming. But, you know, they just need to drop the neon green altogether. We don't need that with the Seahawks. And whoever came up with that, Nike, who present that.
Yeah,
they decide to run with it.
Wasn't in this set at all, amazingly. But yeah, are these uniforms, you were saying?
Yeah, are these uniforms, how do you feel about them compared to their regular road uniforms?
Not that much worse, really.
Yeah. Again, I don't particularly like either of them, but yeah, we'll move on to the next one. To something much better, to one of the best games, I would say, of the entire season. We had to wait for a long time, but the Bills are back. And what I mean by that is the red helmet Bills. The return of the red helmet and the red socks. Not the exact uniform set that we had in the 90s, but very close, with the red helmet and the red socks. Basically, they use the same jersey, the Bills, that they wear all the time.
Right.
The blue jersey, but they brought in that 90s look with the red helmet and the red socks. And of all the throwback uniforms that we were waiting for, this was the last major one that we were waiting for. And we had to wait all the way to the last game of the season and the last game in the stadium for the red Bills helmets to make a return.
Yeah. Red is so much stronger than the white. Red helmet and red socks. The current set they have is good, but the red is just so much stronger.
It's really lacking, and you know, I can understand why the Bills went to a different look in ways, because everyone thinks when they see the red helmet for the Bills, they think of 4 straight Super Bowl losses.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for a fan base to go through, and you don't want the constant reminder of we failed and we just came up short. But on the other hand, you know, while Josh Allen's teams have been good, they've never even gotten to one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
While those Bills, they fell short. They got to 4, and they were as successful as you could be without winning it all. And that was the best era of Buffalo Bills football.
Yeah.
That you think about all the teams that came before them, they never got to a Super Bowl. All the teams that came after them have not reached a Super Bowl
right.
either. And just aside from that, having the red helmet, red socks is just the better look.
Yeah.
I mean, it always looks like something's missing, something's lacking with the white helmet.
Yeah.
We don't like white helmets for the most part. Some teams can do them well, like the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets do it very well, but not for the Bills. Not the Buffalo Bills. I look at the Bills and I expect to see red helmets, red socks, and red end zones
Yep.
for them. And it's never looked right to me, and we've been asking for these for years and years and years. Go back, bring them back. And I really appreciate how both these teams made this an incredible season finale.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the Bills. I salute the Jets, too, for making this such a great game.
Yeah.
With their Namath era, Super Bowl. You're talking about Super Bowl III, uniforms.
Yeah.
That era of uniform, which is our favorite for the Jets, as being a great game. And it's like, again, why you need rivalry uniforms? You got this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something to really watch and behold. And it took a very long time. And we started to wonder if we would ever see Josh Allen in the red helmet. Because we never got to see Russell Wilson with the Seahawks. And great thing about these uniforms is I never thought they were the best of the best
Yeah.
going back, but they were very, very good, solid, slightly above average uniforms for the Bills. Just something memorable, just something strong. They've never had that since then. And, by the time he retires, he may be known as the best Bills quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to compare quarterbacks from different eras, but he may be considered the best Bills quarterback when he retires. And at least he got to wear it the one time.
Yeah.
But the great thing was, again, I'm going to say that this was the last of the great throwback uniforms we want to see.
Yeah.
Buccaneers, Eagles, Seahawks. I don't know if I'm forgetting any there, but the Broncos, the Orange Crush Broncos,
Right.
and the Bills. Those were the ones at the top of my list, and I just thank both these teams, even though it's not the exact one, but this was, I'd say, close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough for the Bills. And thank you, Bills. Thank you, Jets, for doing this right. But how about opening next season
Yeah.
with these?
Take that.
Or with the true throwback, or opening up with this version to kick off the new stadium?
Yeah.
How about that idea?
Yeah.
That would be a great way to start a season and open a new stadium for the Bills. Eagles wore the throwback uniforms in the final game, too, against the Commanders. And as we've already said, it's the best version, the best uniform they have. It's a shame we never get to see it in the playoffs. Like a lot of these throwback uniforms, I don't get why we can't see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The first round of the playoffs, they didn't wear it. But it's a great way to end the season. I think that's what they did last year against the Cowboys for their final
Right.
home game, too. The cheerleaders are very exceptional and have a great look with the headbands and the sweater look. They, too, deserve to be celebrated at a very cool throwback look. And
Yeah.
arguably the best, in at least my opinion, of all the cheerleaders around the league. This was also from earlier in the season, because you got to see the white boots too, which complete the uniform look. So again, Eagles, every home game would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then we get to the 49ers. And this is not too strong to say. It was the worst uniform game in San Francisco 49ers history. That's not too strong of a statement to say. The 49ers have worn black uniforms, meaning black jersey and black pants, but they maintained the gold helmet.
Yeah.
The gold helmet remained
Yeah.
for the 49ers. And a team with all this history, all this success, going all the way like this with the black helmet, I mean, this was too far. This was way too far for the 49ers going with a black helmet.
Yeah, black helmet, it's matte, and the contrast is just really poor. It has the logo, it has the stripe down the middle, but it's just terrible still. Even if you had a red helmet, it would have been better than this. But
Right.
still, terrible.
I will only say one nice thing about these uniforms is if they got creative with anything in the uniform, and there's a positive thing, is they actually use the team font for the numbers. It's called the Saloon font.
Yeah,
That's about it. That's the only positive I will say. Okay, they have a gold cage.
yeah.
Those are
For
the two
helmet.
positives for me. But you know, we complained about the Cowboys with their white look
Yeah,
as an alternate, not the throwback, the
Yeah.
alternate.
right.
The 49ers wearing black and doing this. I mean, how many times can you say, have we ever said, the Seahawks look better than the 49ers?
Yeah,
They're one of the weakest uniform teams in the league. I rip the Seahawks just about every time I see them when they're not wearing the throwback. I cringe when I watch the Seahawks. And for one game, they looked better than the 49ers. And this game was such a disaster on the field. The 49ers fans will always think of this uniform with that game.
yeah.
And I'm hoping that's enough that they will never wear these again.
Be nice.
I mean, I never heard anyone locally say a positive thing, a single positive thing, at least after. There were a few people I heard thought they liked certain things about the uniforms, but after the loss to the Seahawks,
Yeah.
it was nothing but negative things, and you can't ever wear these things again.
Yeah,
You know, from a lot of just general fans that they don't care about uniforms really, they were ripping these left and right, just saying, nope, can't wear these again. We'll only think of losing. And, hey, you know, we're talking about the Bills and associating the Bills losing the big game. But
Yeah.
you wore these once. It was a horrible game. And they're the worst uniform the team's ever worn.
yeah,
I mean, you just can't take away the gold helmet.
yeah.
I mean, the black is bad enough. But not having a gold helmet, you're the 49ers. Again, you're not one of these, you're not a Panthers. You're not one of these nobody franchises. The 49ers wearing black all the way down. They have a red sock, okay. I never need to see this again. I never want to see it again. And it was a dark night for the 49ers in the Bay Area. It was the worst uniform game in their long history. And to go along with that, they didn't even score a touchdown. They
Yeah.
scored 3 points. 3 points against the Seahawks. And burn them. I'd say burying them isn't strong enough. Burn these uniforms if they haven't already. Never again. It was embarrassing to see these out on the field. It was hard to even root for my team
Yeah,
wearing these. It's like, yeah, I love my team, but that's not my team. In so many ways. Watching that is not the 49ers. That's somebody else.
Stanford's worn the black set. 49ers don't do that.
Enough. You got to move on. And we're going to the playoffs. And the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, were... I feel the quality of play and the quality of teams was one of the worst years ever.
Yeah,
I mean, just the whole season. But same thing with the teams that got into the Super Bowl. This is what kicked off the NFL playoffs, was the Panthers. We just saw their good uniforms, the right uniforms, but then they went back to this look
yeah,
to start the playoffs, and they lost
yeah.
at home.
And again, it was against the Rams that they wore the black on silver, and the Rams wore the white on yellow. And then for the playoffs, they dressed worse.
And they won that game
yeah.
against the Rams
So you think they
earlier
were
in the season at home.
right?
Wasn't enough.
Nope.
And they wore these and they lost.
Yeah.
black on black. Stupid. Just stupid.
And the first time they ever did this was against the 49ers in the playoffs. And I guess they've decided it's a tradition.
And they lost that game too.
Yeah.
With Cam Newton.
Right.
But it gets worse for the playoffs. This isn't the worst yet. I mean, you expect the Panthers can do some pretty dumb things.
Yeah.
Then we had the Packers go to the rival Chicago Bears.
Yeah. And we were complimenting the Bears all season for being super traditional this year. They didn't wear orange on orange on orange. They didn't wear any throwback of any sort. And they definitely didn't wear blue on blue. So we figured, of course not. This is not going to happen. And that's what they did. It's embarrassing. And then the Packers, once again, wearing the white stockings.
Yeah, they just continued on with that. And the Packers lost. I mean, the Bears. I mean, what can you count on now? When you have teams like the Bears and the Packers fooling around like this.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be, again, the Bears had this great regular season. They wore the right uniforms all year. And this is how you start your new era.
Yeah.
Right? Ben Johnson, new coach. Caleb Williams, new quarterback. New team. We're going to be a good offensive team. Things are going to be different. Yeah, they managed to win this game. They did. But what a terrible way to go about it.
Yeah.
And the Packers, this ended their miserable season. You can only hope. But there is no sure things with uniforms now. You can only hope they'll return back to what they had. But
Yeah.
we won't know until the new season starts.
Yep.
And the next week, the divisional round, the Bears host the Rams, and they do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, we were thinking maybe because of the first matchup they had against the Packers, it was the same place in Chicago, it was the same uniform set. They wanted to wear something different for that game, and hopefully they would be back to normal in the next game. But we also know superstition prevails, so there's a very good chance that this would be the case, and it was. And the Rams go with their blue pants on top of it. It's just...
What's wrong with yellow pants? You know, it was interesting when I was talking about and doing like a preview for these games in the divisional round.
Yeah.
We weren't talking uniforms, just talking about the games on the field themselves.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, this actually happened 40 years ago, that the Rams went to Chicago to face the Bears in the 1985 playoffs, and it was in the championship, the NFC Championship game at Soldier Field. You know, Soldier Field,
Yeah.
not this Soldier Field.
Right.
And the Rams wore their yellow pants. It looked great. The Bears wore their regular uniforms. They looked great. And it was just a great uniform matchup. Of course, everyone knows the 85 Bears. Well, the Bears season ended in 25. 40 years later, they didn't win. And as far as we're concerned, they didn't win. As far as we're concerned, they got what they deserved.
Yeah.
They lost because of something like this. This was a factor in our eyes.
Yep.
That they lost because you go out looking like this and their road ended.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away with this 2 weeks in a row. Come
Yeah.
on. You can't.
Did not want to see the Bears in the Super Bowl wearing these, and they probably would have if they had gone all the way.
Yeah, it's a good thing they lost when they did.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last we've seen of these two.
Yeah. At least in the playoffs, it better be. If not at all.
The Super Bowl. Nothing super. It was not super. It was the Color Rush Bowl.
Yeah.
It was the first Color Rush Super Bowl we had. And I'll just say out of the gate, too, it was the worst uniform Super Bowl in history. If
Yep.
we were going to say, we've ranked the greatest Super Bowl uniform matchups, the top 10. If we were to do the bottom 10, worst 5, this would be the worst.
That's right.
And as bad as the Seahawks is, the Patriots are worse.
Yeah. The Patriots were the home team designated. They had the opportunity to wear blue on gray or silver, depending on how you look at it. like they traditionally have in the Super Bowls. And instead, they chose to wear white on white, not white on blue, not white on silver or gray, but white on white, which they wore the majority of the season on the road, but still. And I know that they intentionally chose to wear white road in Super Bowls in the past, but at this point with this set, it's terribly weak and embarrassing to be wearing this when you have so many better options. And because of that, you force the Seahawks to wear their blue on blue on blue, which they wouldn't have worn if you hadn't worn yours.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly a big fan of the Super Bowl that happened 11 years earlier. I mean, it was a great game between Brady and Wilson. In the Super Bowl, I mean, the exciting ending, the interception, the head-scratching decision not to run with Marshawn Lynch at the goal line. Great Super Bowl. This was not a great Super Bowl on the field. And I wasn't mainly a fan, I should say, of the uniforms. That's my point of that Super Bowl. But, wow, looked a whole lot better than this.
Yeah.
What we got here. And again, I expect the Seahawks to look bad. The Patriots, unfortunately, this was spoiled. I heard it on a Fox Sports radio update. I remember hearing it and getting it spoiled ahead of time because I don't like spoilers. We both don't like spoilers with uniforms, and I didn't expect to hear that, so I knew coming to this game the Patriots were wearing white on white. And I knew the Super Bowl was going to look really bad, but before that spoiler, I didn't think the Patriots were seriously going to wear white on white in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I thought they were doing it one time in the championship game, but they really thought Mike Vrabel and Robert Kraft and the powers that be really thought, hey, we're on a roll here. It's like, no, you beat the Broncos with a backup quarterback in a snow game, and if you didn't have the lead, how long was that game going to go on?
Yeah.
It's like double overtime, triple overtime. No one was scoring in that game. You didn't have anything special. And, I think this picture sums it up. Again, I'm blaming the Patriots here.
Oh, yeah.
This is how you look this bad. This is the result. And, again, just from a quality of play, it was a bad NFL season.
Yeah.
And not just because Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the Super Bowl, but representing the AFC, you didn't get Lamar Jackson, you didn't get Josh Allen, you didn't get Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. You got a team like the Patriots that really shouldn't have gotten in.
Yeah.
And then on top of not being a very good team, this was the worst uniform the Patriots ever wore. This is the worst they ever looked in their long history of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Think about all the Super Bowls they were in. They were in 2 Super Bowls before Brady, and then all the Brady Super Bowls. And then this is how they want to go forward?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I guess the good thing is, hopefully a game like this, too, losing like this, will prevent them from ever considering doing this again.
Yeah, you'd hope. And like you said, the fact that they still have Robert Kraft as their owner, they have Mike Vrabel as their coach.
We'll see for how long. Yeah, Mike Vrabel's their coach.
You think they would have the tradition and the foundation of wearing good uniforms in place with them, but no. But yeah, the only thing you can say about them is, well, there's a stripe on the pants, and that's about it. That's where any positivity ends.
Right. I mean, I could tolerate this a lot more if it had a blue sock.
Yeah, that too.
On there.
That too.
If it had a blue sock, we'd be a lot better off. But just having again, white on white look and having a tradition, a winning tradition. Patriots have 6 Super Bowls, as many as any team, tied with the Steelers for the most. And again, we're just putting all that aside. We don't care about the history. And, Tom Brady's in the past, and we've separated ourselves and distanced ourselves from Tom Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
And we're going in a new direction, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it for the NFL season. And it was quite a season. A lot of ups, lots of downs. Really finishing on a sour note with the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and you can only hope that certain teams have learned their lessons, like Packers, the Bears, and the Patriots.
Most of them.